This question asks, my last dog had alone time anorexia. Is there any world in which a dog would similarly not drink unless you're home? This is a great question, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So most of us are probably familiar with the idea that a dog's ability to eat food can be impacted by their stress. If not, I'll just talk about that briefly. So you don't need to eat pizza when you're being chased by a lion. And so when you see a dog's stress levels increase, they're going up that stress scale, you might see the digestive system go offline. And that can happen all at once for some dogs. Some dogs, the slightest bit of distress, like they're just starting to go up that stress scale, and they're like, no, thank you, food. Some dogs are still taking food on the higher end of the stress scale, although they are probably biting your fingers off because their fine motor skills are not functioning well. And it can be a bit of a spectrum. So as the dog is slowly becoming less and less interested in food because their stress levels are going up, you might see that look like your dog only taking high value food and not low value. Or they might not be doing the chewing part of the digestive process. They might just be swallowing the food. Or they might lick and sniff at it, but not actually take it. Or it might get stuck to their lips and fall out. Or they might, be able to lick and not chew. And so these can all be approximations of that digestive system going offline, because you don't need to eat pizza while you're being chased by a lion. But I think people less commonly are familiar with the idea of a dog not drinking water or a dog not going to the bathroom because they're stressed. Sometimes I work with dogs where the client will say, oh, my dog never drinks water when we're out. Or, oh, my dog never goes to the bathroom on leash. And you can take out and about and on leash and replace it with any context in which your dog is experiencing stress. And sometimes that is the clue that the dog is stressed. Sometimes their body language and their other behavior is masking a bit of the stress that they're experiencing. It may not be as obvious to us. And sometimes the big switch is actually when the dog starts doing something that they've never done. And so, you have taken your dog out on like a 5-mile hike in the middle of summer, but they won't drink water. And you're like, I know you have to be thirsty. Like, you are hot, you are exercising. Why won't you drink? Or we might say, you really should have to go to the bathroom at some point. Like, we've been out at this park on leash for the past several hours and you haven't peed once. But then as soon as we get back home and you're in the yard, then you go potty. And a lot of times as we're bringing those stress levels down, we see this dog who has never drinking out and about before starts drinking from their water bowl. Or this dog, I can't tell you how many times in a lesson people have gone, oh my God, that's the first time my dog has ever peed on leash. It has happened more than a handful of times. And that's not a coincidence. It's because we're actively working with these dogs to lower their stress levels. And so then they feel safe enough to do things like not only eat, but also drink or go potty, which are also things you don't need to do when you're being chased by a lion necessarily. And I say necessarily because I don't want people to hear me say if your dog is eating, drinking, and going potty that they're not stressed. That is not what I am saying. In fact, I have several clients who will drink water frantically when they are stressed, and some clients who will actually drink to extreme excess when they are stressed. So every dog is a little bit different for sure. But absolutely, there could be a case where just like, a sort of red flag for separation-related issues is you leave your dog with like a stuffed Kong or their favorite puzzle toy and they don't touch it until you get back. And then when you get back, they go to do the activity. And you could certainly see that with water as well. And that would be a bit of a red flag that there is stress when you are gone in that context. Now, what stress? It could depend. I said separation-related behaviors, but that's not the only reason that a dog might be stressed while their human is gone. It could be that there are noises happening outside of the house, or there is some intra-household conflict that is playing out when the person isn't there, or any number of things. But yes, we can look at these behaviors and they can give us important data about the dog and their stress levels.